Hello, Balboa Scholars, and welcome back to another science lesson. Today, we're going to be going over lesson number 4. Lesson number 4 is going to have 2 parts. You're going to be with me today and again on Thursday. So, we're going to talk about fast changes on Earth. Boys and girls, many of you probably already know that Earth is constantly changing. There's different events that happen on Earth. Some happen very, very slowly, and some happen very fast. And today we're going to start to learn about those fast changes. So, scientists often study these things to help them predict how they're going to happen. As we go on with the lesson, you'll see and start to understand all of these events that happen on Earth. So, let's get started with our objective. Remember, objective is our goal. What do we want to learn by the end of this lesson? Let's read together. Objective. I can identify Earth changes that happen quickly. So again, we talked about various changes on Earth that can happen. Some can happen very slow, but some can happen very fast. And these are the lessons that we're going to talk about, changes that happen quickly. So keep that in mind. We're also going to ask ourselves a question. We want to be able to answer this question. What causes land to change quickly? So boys and girls, keep in mind our objective as we go through the lesson. Before we start reading today, we're going to watch a short video. So I would like for you to pay attention, maybe take notes if you want to. See what you can find out from the video and what you learned something new.
No, it's not an earthquake. It's just some big trucks passing by. What is an earthquake? The Earth is made of different layers. The core is at the center, and the mantle is in the middle. The outermost layer is the crust, which is the layer we live on.
Raise your hand, boys and girls. How many of you have ever experienced an earthquake? Did you know that that is a change on Earth that happens quickly? We will be talking more about earthquakes later on in this lesson.
The crust is divided into different plates, or large areas. Not exactly, Moby. Tectonic plates lie underneath the continents and oceans. The tectonic plates push against each other very, very, very slowly. The plates have been pushing against each other for millions and millions of years. Sometimes the plates slip and cause an earthquake. During an earthquake, the land shakes.
So take note of the changes that happens during an earthquake to the land. The land shakes. What else might happen?
Earthquakes can cause the ground to break down and damage roads and buildings. Sometimes earthquakes cause landslides, which happen when large pieces of land break off and slide down hills or mountains. Earthquakes can seem a little scary, but earthquakes happen every day. You just can't feel most of them. Most are pretty small, though, and many of them happen deep in the ocean. Cool. What is a volcano?
What is a volcano? Take a moment, think about it. If you do know, you can go ahead and tell me the answer.
A volcano is an opening in the Earth's crust that allows melted rock, ash, and gases to come up. Magma is molten or melted rock. Magma comes up from the mantle and erupts through the crust. When magma reaches the surface, it's called lava. The volcano spits out burning hot lava, ash, and gases. The lava flows down, cools, and turns into rock. Cooled lava can form hills and change the way land looks. Sometimes lava can form islands, like Hawaii. Most volcanoes are not active, and some will never erupt. Volcanoes are important because they bring rich soil, which is good for growing crops. Some volcanoes are even underwater. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions in the ocean can cause tsunamis.
Another change in the world that we're going to be talking about is a tsunami.
A tsunami is a big wave in the sea. The wave can travel across the ocean and break on a coast. A tsunami can cause floods and damage land. What is a flood? A flood happens when water flows into an area that's usually dry. If there's too much rain, a stream or river can overflow its banks and flood the area around it. Floods can cause a lot of problems in communities. A hurricane is a powerful storm with very strong winds and a lot of rain, and it can cause floods. In many parts of the world, there are floods every rainy season. The floods are natural and bring rich soil to the area, which help farmers grow crops. Wildfires also bring rich soil. What are wildfires? A wildfire is a large fire that spreads quickly in the countryside or in the wilderness. Wildfires can be caused by people, but they can also be caused in natural ways. In big wildfires, many animals can lose their homes. After wildfires are gone, they can leave behind rich soil. Then, new plants have a chance to grow and animals can move back. Earth is always changing. Sometimes these changes are slow, and other times they're fast. But most of the time, we don't even notice these changes. I definitely noticed those changes.
The surface of the earth is always changing. Some events, like volcanoes and earthquakes, change the earth quickly. Wind and water can cause fast changes or slow changes. Other natural events can also change the Earth's surface. Boys and girls, I know you don't have your science packet at hand. Some of you might have printed it already, but you will be assigned to it via Seesaw. So you will be typing your answers in. As we go through this lesson, I will guide you in answering the questions that you have assigned. So, one of the questions on your homework today is what can cause fast changes to the earth? If you go back to this slide, you will see that it talks about two things that causes change on earth. Remember, boys and girls, when you're answering your questions, what is your teacher looking for? Complete sentences, details, capitals, and end marks. Volcanic eruptions. Volcanic eruptions happen when gas bubbles expand and cause pressure to build up inside lava, a hot liquid rock. When enough pressure builds, gases and lava shoot out of the volcano's crater. Lava flows down the sides of the volcano. When the lava cools, it hardens into rock. Volcanic eruptions change the Earth's surface quickly. So another thing that changes the Earth's surface quickly is a volcano. There are many different parts of the volcano: the magma, the lava, and how it builds up, why it builds up, and when it shoots out, what is the purpose of that? Why does that happen? Why does it erupt? An erupting volcano can cause mudslides, floods, tsunamis, and even earthquakes. Have you ever seen a volcano erupt? Maybe a video, maybe on TV. Maybe you've actually built a volcano before and seen it erupt, a pretend one. If we look at the picture and we see the caption, what does the caption say? Go ahead and read the caption out loud. Lava cools and hardens into solid rocks. Another question, boys and girls, in our homework today is what happens to lava after it cools? So I will be posting these to help you go back in the text, looking for the answer using your text evidence to complete the question. Now let's talk about earthquakes. I know that when I was growing up, there was the Northridge earthquake. I was very, very, very little, but from what my parents had told me, it was a very large earthquake that caused a lot of damage. You might have felt some here and there, but oftentimes they are very fast and cause changes to the earth. An earthquake is the sudden shaking and rolling of the earth's surface. Layers of rock deep inside the earth move and push against each other. When enough pressure builds, the rock breaks. The ground begins to shake as the pressure is released. So what do you notice in the picture? What do you see happening? What changes are happening? Earthquakes change the surface of the earth quickly. They may cause roads to split and buildings to fall. They can even leave long, deep cracks in the ground. Sometimes when you're driving on the street, you might see that the road looks like this, and that could be the cause of an earthquake over time. Like volcanoes, earthquakes begin deep inside the earth. We are moving on to another change on Earth called a tsunami. Can you say that with me? Tsunami. A tsunami is a large ocean wave, usually caused by an erupting volcano or earthquake. So what I noticed after reading all of these is many of them cause each other. An earthquake can cause a flood. An earthquake can cause a landslide. A tsunami can be caused by an earthquake. So they affect each other. A tsunami is like a wall of water that rushes quickly over the land. I've never experienced a tsunami before. You probably haven't ever experienced a tsunami before, but you might see it on TV. You might have seen a tsunami on videos, pictures. This is what a tsunami is. Fast changing for the earth. A flood. We don't get much rain here in California, so we might not see many floods. But a flood happens when a large amount of water fills up rivers and lakes until they overflow. Floods can happen after many days of heavy rain or even melting snow. If you came from maybe a different state in the United States, you might have experienced floods before. Floods can also cause a lot of damage. Cities and valleys or other low places are more prone to floods. Floods cause extreme damage. They carry dirt, rock, and debris from one place to another. Floods can also be caused by tsunamis. So notice that floods aren't always just for water, right? They can carry with them mud, dirt, rocks, and you can see that it has buried the car underneath. Landslides. Landslides are kind of easy to remember because it's a compound word, landslide. A landslide is when the side of a mountain or hill falls down. Landslides are caused by rain, earthquakes, or volcanic eruptions. Heavy rainfall makes the soil loose. The sides then become unstable and slide downward. Boys and girls, that has completed our lesson. So if I go back to our slides, we've gone over many different changes on Earth. Landslides, floods, tsunamis, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. All of these are talking about the changes on Earth and how they happen quickly. We're going to continue with part 2 on Thursday, but before I let you go, I would like to explain the homework. So like I said earlier, you will be assigned on Seesaw, and your job is to look back into the text or whatever you remember and use complete sentences to answer your questions. Boys and girls, remember what your teacher taught you. Remember what we're looking for. You are super scholars, and I know you can do a fantastic job. Other than that, it was great to work with you today. I look forward to seeing you on Thursday for part 2.